Hello students and welcome to the next session in the video series. Today we'll focus on physics and I picked up 5 good questions from majorly work and energy and gravitation. So the instructions remain the same. Do make sure that you know the concepts because formula application and concept application will happen in the questions. And then once you apply the questions, make sure your units are consistent, right? So it should not be that you are not using SI units and you are using random units and then your answers don't match. So make sure concept to be thorough, formulas to be thorough, and make sure that your units are also consistent with what the final solution should be. So on the screen now, I'm sharing the questions, 5 questions of the day. You can pause the video here and then you can go on to the solutions later on. Very well. I'm sure now you have attempted the questions. Let's go on to the solutions. First question, not a numerical but a conceptual question. Can there be displacement of an object in the absence of any force acting on it? Think. We have to displace the object. That means the object is moving, right? This is distance displacement. That means object should be moving. But can the object move in the absence of force? Think. When we discuss the concepts of the laws, the various laws, the second law, the first law, we always study that, let's say, if you apply an external force on the object, right? What does Newton's second law says? When you apply an external force on the object, then an acceleration is produced, right? In simple terms, when you apply force, obviously the mass will move and acceleration will be produced. But what if we don't apply this force? This is what the question is saying. So don't you think if we don't apply the force, then acceleration will be zero? As simple as that. There will be no acceleration in case of absence of force. But if you are not causing any acceleration, think the object can still be moving with a uniform motion, which means a constant velocity, right? In order to change that velocity, we need to apply the force. But here we are not applying any force. So in that case, the object would still be moving in, let's say, uniform motion at a constant velocity, and then displacement of the object is still present because the object is on the go. That means you are not stepping up the pedal. That means you are not pressing the accelerator. That means you are not applying any external force. But still, the object could be moving, let's say, having an initial velocity which will be equal to the final velocity. This is a very clear case of constant speed, which you have studied till class 8. Distance equals to speed into time. What is the speed here? This is a constant speed, right? Constant speed or constant velocity means there is no acceleration. If there is no acceleration, obviously there is no force, and hence it is important to understand the concept. I'm assuming this is clear to you. Second question on the screen. Now, a numerical. A mass of ball A is double the mass of another ball B. The ball A moves at half the speed of the ball B. Calculate the ratio of kinetic energies. So we have read the question thoroughly, break it down. Let's say ratios of kinetic energies of A. Let's say first find kinetic energy of A. As simple as that. What is the formula of kinetic energy? Half mv square, right? Instantaneous kinetic energy. That means at that point, half mv square. Now, what is the mass of ball A? It's double the mass of ball B. So let's assume the standard mass to be m, right, of ball B. That means how much will be the mass of ball A? Will it be 2 times m, right? So I'm assuming the mass of ball B as m. This is ball B's mass. And now if I'm assuming this, that means the mass of ball A is double, half into m into v square. That is the formula of kinetic energy, half m v square. Now, what is the velocity? The ball A moves with half the speed of ball B. So let's say ball B is moving with the speed of v. That means think the ball A will move at half the speed. That means v by 2, right? But in the formula, it's half mv square. That means we'll have to square the velocity as well. right? So this is the mass of ball A, and this is the velocity of ball A, right? So I've taken a common variable so that if you find the ratio, things will get cancelled out easily. Now let's open this. This becomes half 2m into v square by 4. Very clearly mathematics. Now 2 and 2 cancel. That means this gives me half 1 by 4 mv square. This is the kinetic energy of ball A. Very clear? Simple calculations. So let's remember this 1 by 4 mv square. Now calculate the kinetic energy of ball B. This will be equals to, again, formula remains the same, half mv square, half into mass. What is the mass? Mass is m here, and velocity was v here. As simple as that, right? Because we assumed the velocity of ball B as v, and we assumed the mass of ball B as m. M assume kar liya, v assume kar liya, as simple as that. Half mv square, and that was 1 by 4 mv square. Now let's calculate the kinetic energy ratios. Kinetic energy A upon kinetic energy B will be equals to 1 by 4 mv square whole divided by 1 by 2 mv square. Right? mv square. Common variables, they will cancel out. That is the purpose, that was the purpose of assuming similar variables. Now, two rational numbers divided, again mathematics, 1 by 4 upon 1 by 2. 2 goes up, 4 goes down and gets multiplied with 1. That becomes 2 upon 4, and that gives you 1 by 2 as the ratio of their kinetic energy. Very simple question, straightforward application of formulas. But the point is, things are to be kept in mind that yes, formula you should know, and how to apply that concept is something that you should know. Question number 3. What is the work done to increase the velocity of a car from 30 km per hour to 60 km per hour if the mass of the car is given? Now, you need to find the work done, but think what is given. Work done, you have to find. Velocities are given. Will this be my initial velocity, 30 kilometers per hour? And 60 kilometers per hour, will this be my final velocity? Because I'm increasing the velocity from a previous value to a new value. That means previous value is my initial and the new value becomes my final velocity. Mass is given. Now, think of a very important concept that we have discussed in physics in work and energy, that is the work energy theorem. What is the work energy theorem? The work done, let's say, to increase the velocity is directly equal to the change in kinetic energy. Remember, the change in kinetic energy is directly equal to the work done. Now, how do we calculate the change in kinetic energy? If let's say it's any change, that means there's a final value and an initial value, and if you want to calculate the change, that means you just have to subtract both of them. So let's calculate the change in kinetic energy. That will be equal to final kinetic energy minus the initial kinetic energy. What will be my final kinetic energy? Half mv square. So mass, I'm assuming as m as of now, v will be v minus initial half m u square, right? So I'm just using the formulas as of now, not putting the values as of now. What can we take common? We can take half m common. That leaves me with v square minus v square. This is how I can calculate the change in kinetic energy. As simple as that. Now I just have to put in the values. But now let's see. Change in kinetic energy, we know that this is directly equal to the work done. So if we calculate the change in kinetic energy, that means we know that this is the value of work done. Work energy theorem. Now mass is given, V is given, U is given, put the values, find the final answer. Now this is up to you. You'll have to find the answers and validate later. But now think, mass is given in the SI unit, kg. Do you think V and U are still in the SI unit? Kilometer per hour, kilometer per hour. No, they are not. So V and U, you'll have to convert it into meter per second. Because if you want to find the work done, which will be in joules, that means you need SI units of mass and velocities. Now this is the twist here, right? How do you convert it? So let me convert one. 30 किलोमीटर पर आवर, इवन इफ यू डोंट रिमेंबर द शॉर्टकट, तो लॉन्ग मेथड कंसेप्ट तो याद होना ही चाहिए। 30 टाइम्स 1 किलोमीटर, 1 किलोमीटर कितना होता है 1000 मीटर्स divided by 1 hour. How much is 1 hour? 3600 seconds. Simplify this. 10 goes with this. This you can keep it as 120. So 1000 upon 120 meter per second will be your initial velocity. So this is how you convert this. If you forget the shortcut, but if you remember it, well and good. 30 kilometer per hour, directly multiply it by 5 by 18, and you will get the meter per second value. That's it. Yeah. So directly converting your kilometer per hour into meter per second using this shortcut, which is very important. So remember the shortcut also, remember the conceptual method also, you will be fine with both of them. Next, if a planet existed whose mass was twice that of the Earth and whose radius is 3 times greater, how much will a 1 kg mass weigh on that planet? Now, clear question of gravitation, right? If a planet existed whose mass was twice that of the Earth, so Earth, let's say I'm assuming mass to be m, as simple as that, and Earth ka radius let's assume is r, right? Earth is not purely spherical, but still for calculations we will assume that it's a spherical ball. That means the radius is r. Now for the new planet, we know that radius is 3 times, that means it is 3r, and mass is 2 times, that means mass is 2m, right? Twice of the Earth, and radius is thrice of the Earth. How much will a 1 kg mass weigh on that planet? We have to find the weight, right? Very, very important. Weigh on that planet. Mass is given. Now let's see what is the formula for finding weight. This is how we'll start because we don't have any other clues. So whatever we have to find out, write it down. We have to find the weight on that planet. What is the formula of weight? Mass multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. Very simple. Mass is already given to us, that is 1 kg. Think, is acceleration due to gravity given to us on that planet? Because if we want to calculate weight on that planet, we'll have to have the value of acceleration due to gravity on that planet, which is not there. So we have to find that. This is the missing variable in this. So even if you don't know anything about the question, it's very important. What you have to find out, write it down. Your clues will start from there. Your mind will be activated from there. That's very important. Now, let's see acceleration to gravity. How do we find out? What is the formula? Gm upon radius square, right? This is the formula for acceleration due to gravity. Now, this is in case of Earth, but we want to find out the acceleration due to gravity on that planet. So how do we calculate this? Acceleration due to gravity on that planet will be capital G will be the same. Universal gravitation constant is same everywhere. Mass. Now, this is the mass of the Earth. What is the mass of the planet? Mass of the planet is 2 times. So that means, can I write it 2 times m upon radius square? Now, what is the radius of that planet? It is 3 times the radius as that of the Earth. So can I substitute this as 3r instead of r? As simple as that. Now, let me do some calculations. I know the value of acceleration due to gravity on Earth. I'm rounding it out to 10 meter per second square, right? Exact value is 9.8, but let's round it off to 10 meter per second square. Now, how do we calculate the acceleration due to gravity on that planet? Let's reshuffle our variables and apply mathematics. Take two separately. Gm, correct? So let's swap these positions. All divided by 3r square becomes 9r square. Correct? So I'm dealing with variables now. Very simple. This is the acceleration due to gravity on that planet. Now, Gm upon r square. Do you know this value? This is the acceleration due to gravity on Earth. And what is the value? 10, right? Can I substitute this value here? Because I know the value of acceleration due to gravity on Earth. And this is how I can find the acceleration due to gravity on that planet. See how good this question is. Now, Gm upon r square becomes 10 multiplied by 2 by 9. That becomes 20 upon 9 meter per second square. is the acceleration due to gravity on that planet. I'm assuming it's clear till here. So let's use this now. Weight is m times g, formula that we know. Mass is already given 1 kg. How much is the acceleration due to gravity? 20 upon 9. We just found out, right? On that planet, how much is the weight? That means 20 upon 9 newtons. That's it. As easy as that. So I'm sure things are clear now. The final part of this answer was easy. It's only how do we do those manipulations on those variables that is important. Final question of the day. How much would a 70 kg man weigh on the moon? Again, language understanding is important. Comprehension in terms of physics is important. Otherwise, you will never understand physics. How much would a 70 kg man weigh? The mass is given 70 kg. Weight we need to find out. Question mark. You know the formula of weight now. It is m times g. G of moon is already given. Acceleration due to gravity of moon is already given. Can it be easier than this? So G is 1.7. Just put in the values. How much will be the weight? 70 times 1.7, and that will directly give you the weight on the moon. As simple as this. So even if, let's say, they don't give the value of G in the paper, you can still apply that concept. The acceleration due to gravity on Earth, for example, is 10, rounding off, meter per second square. Then acceleration due to gravity on moon, remember, is 1/6 the acceleration due to gravity on the Earth. Right? So this is the acceleration due to gravity on the moon, as simple as that. So even if you don't know this value, even if let's say it's not given the question, remember the concept. 1/6 of the acceleration due to gravity of Earth. So that becomes 10/6. Second case, let's see what will be his mass on Earth and Moon. Trick question, remember? Have we discussed that mass again is constant, right? If it weighs 70 kg on, let's say, the Earth, 70 kg on Earth, be it Jupiter, be it Moon, be it Saturn, be it, let's say, any other planet in the entire galaxy, that person will measure the same in terms of mass. Mass will never change. Remember, because mass is the entire concentration of the mass in the body. But weight can change based on the value of acceleration due to gravity, because that is a force. Weight is a force. Mass is mass. Mass never changes. That means it's a trick question. What will the mass on Earth? 70 kg. What will the mass on Moon? 70 kg. As simple as that. Yeah. So we stop here. I'm assuming the questions and all the concepts are crystal clear to you now. Go through this again once, twice, thrice, maybe, to remember all the, assimilate all the information together, all the numericals, all the concepts, all the formulas, put it together. And I hope you like this video. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, everyone.